Welcome back to Book Talks Podcast. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
And I don't think we actually ever celebrated on the podcast reaching 100 subscribers.
My goodness. Big milestone for us. Huge milestone. And now we're only 300 some odd away, like, from our next milestone.
Yeah, our next goal is 500. We set out to reach 100. Now we're going to want to reach 500 by the end of 2026. Fingers crossed we can get there. I mean, we started the year, was it in the 60s or 70s?
Yeah, I can't remember. Like, I had, 50 fake YouTube accounts that I followed us on. So probably around 50 or 60.
But we are so thankful for you guys subscribing to us. This episode, we were talking about Red Rising by Pierce Brown, which was our February book of the month. So we are a little delayed on the recording, but honestly pretty good for ourselves because it's only March 8th. So we're not that delayed.
I feel like we're celebrating two things here, actually. We're celebrating 100 subscribers, but we're also celebrating that we kept up with this during our busy season. So, you say, okay, well, it's March 8th and this is our February book, but I'm like, girl, it's March 8th. We're doing this.
No, I think maybe last year we set a schedule up and everything. And I think we did 2 books on that schedule and didn't finish it. I think I just deleted the post and just kidding, this never was. So we're holding ourselves accountable and making it one goal, one book at a time, reading together. Because we're both mood readers. I don't know who's not a mood reader.
Really, I don't know because I probably didn't consider myself a mood reader when I started reading because I don't know if I really understood it. And now that I am a reader, well, yeah, obviously I want to read what I'm in the mood to read. Life's too short to do anything else. So, duh.
So I guess we'll get into Red Rising. Before we start, this is a spoiled-filled episode. So if you have not read Red Rising, I recommend going to read Red Rising and then circling back. I do think this book has been around for a while, but I feel like I've recently seen it a lot on social media, so I think it's having a resurgence. So I'm excited to dive into it. I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. I said this really funny thing to Rebecca. I was like, it's surprisingly really good to be written by a man.
It's so true. We don't read that many books written by men. Probably read maybe more than you because some of my thrillers are written by men. Peter B. Swanson and Riley Sager and stuff like that. But romance, those aren't written by men. And if fantasy, I mean, we're deep into female writers of fantasy. So this really was, other than The Lord of the Rings, this is probably the first fantasy book I've read by a man.
So recently I read a romance book by a man and it was really good. It was written in dual POV, so that attribute to it. But yeah, no, it was really good. The first 30 pages, I was very lost. And I also, wasn't vibing with it. It was very claustrophobic because they're, in the cave and they're just drilling. And it was kind of what are we working? I felt trapped as much as they felt trapped in this underground world where they thought they won. I don't even remember what they were trying to win, but they were trying to win, the highest drills that month, and they had it, and then it was rigged and they didn't win it, and it felt very stuck in this what are they gonna do, what is this life? Obviously we knew we had a book here, so it was gonna lead to something. I just didn't know how, but I would say it took me 50 pages to be oh, this book is I'm getting into it.
Yeah. So I did not know they were underground until Darrow went above ground. I'm not really sure what was going on with my reading comprehension skills at the start of this book, but I was really struggling with the concept of reds and golds and then other colors because I was it's got to be metaphorical, right? It's got to be a symbolism of their class. And then I talked to my mom about it because she read Red Rising probably a year or so ago. And she was like, is that the one where they're digging underground? And I was like, well, they're digging. I don't know where they're digging, but they're digging. She's like, I think they're underground. And I was like, I don't know if they're underground, Mom. That might be a different book. And so I'm crying right now because of how stupid I was. But so then I was like, okay, but so it's all metaphorical, right? This reds and golds. And she's like, Well, I don't think you're there yet, but I'm pretty sure the main character undergoes some serious, like, physical changes to turn into a gold. So she said, I think there's something there with physical appearance. And so then I was just imagining red people and gold people and pink people. And I was so lost until you had the bright idea to look up fan art. So that was very helpful. If you're like me and struggle at the beginning of this book, look up fan art, pay close attention. They are underground, and eventually it picks up and you'll get into
When so whenever he goes like above ground and he goes through that like the transformation to become a gold, I thought that was so extreme and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know, whenever he was like, you took my eyes, you took my mother's eyes, my father's hair, like what did oh, you're not taking my name or something like that. And I was like, this is wild. Like I thinking about, like, as if this is a real person, I'm like, his emotional like, he's gonna have to go through so much therapy to become, like, normal. Because I thought about remember that Grey's Anatomy scene where there's that woman who falls off the ferry and she, like, has no idea who she was, and they, like, pretty much, like, put a fake like, a new face, like, built her a face, and she looks nothing like what she did before, and she, like, is really fucked up because of it. Like, I
Mhm.
thought back to that, I'm like, "Dang, like, there's gonna be some issues," but he handled it like a champ.
Well, and truthfully, I feel like maybe that's where the fact that it was written by a man comes into play. Because I think if it was written by a woman, there would have been a bit of an identity crisis going on. But Darrow was just totally cool with it. He's like, oh, yep, they're not my hands. That's okay. Oh, it's not my face. Ah, that's okay. Who cares? It's like, Darrow, buddy, you're a whole different person now. Like, there's got to be some bit of crazy going on in there. But he was fun.
The training montage, I thought was quite brief.
Yeah, it was, but I feel like they reference back to those training times several times where they would be like he would say something, a certain word or something, it'd be like, "Oh, I know to use the high lingo because of my training here," or whatever. But yeah, no, maybe he should have had a little more time learning how to be a gold because he spent his whole life being a red, and there's a lot of room for error there if you mess up on that part. So it's like you changed your whole physical appearance, and then you're like, "Oh, a week or 2, I'm good. I'm a gold now."
I think they summed it up. I do think it was longer than that, and I feel like they referenced technology, and that was still in the part where I'm, like, learning this world, but they referenced this technology where he just, like, listens to things and, like and then he just knows it.
Must be nice.
Reminded me in college, I thought, I feel like I, like, heard somewhere that you can, like, learn in your sleep, so I used to go to sleep to, like, lectures, thinking I would just magically remember things when I woke up. It never seemed to work.
Really? I really don't think that's what they meant. What I've heard on that is, like, if you're struggling with a concept, to sleep on it because your brain keeps working through it during the night, but not while you're actively learning to go to sleep.
Obviously, it wasn't, like, my full study plan, but I was like, "It can't hurt."
It's so funny.
So it reminded me whenever Darrow's, like, had to listen to stuff to learn it, I was like, "I've tried this method, it does not work, but I guess it works in Mars." And then it also sounded like he, like, stood in a suit and basically it was, like, a whole workout in itself.
Yes, I thought that part was really interesting because of the way it was explained was due to like the different gravity on Mars, and then the bone density of golds was different than the bone density of red, so how they respond to that gravity is different and all this stuff. I did find that part like kind of interesting just from a science. It wasn't just there was like a reason for the things that had to happen as opposed to just, it wasn't explained. So I enjoyed that. And that's probably where things started picking up for me because honestly, up until that point, I was still very lost about what was going on and why. Yeah, but I think part of the problem was I liked EO. And so, I mean, you already said spoilers, but spoiler, EO dies like very early on. And that made me really sad. And so I think I had a little bit of a hard time coping with that and moving on from that. And honestly, I don't once again, I feel like maybe because it was written by a man, it's not that Darrow gets over EO really fast, but he channels his coping into kind of anger and revenge. Whereas I can't really relate to that because I think I would have just been deeply depressed, like very sad and not able to just go on and change my whole physical appearance and then go try and take down the bad guys. Like, I would have needed a moment, to grieve. And again, I mean, like, I liked it. I'm not like pooping on Pierce Brown or whatever. I'm sure he's a great writer. I just feel like, and I said this in my review, it was written by a man for like guys because a woman would process these things differently. That's all I'm saying. Like, again, not hating on it. It was just I'm looking through it through the lens of a female, and I was like, Darrow's really responding to this stuff really well, and I would not be.
Well, speaking of when EO dies, like, what, 50 pages in, I thought, like, whenever Darrow was, like, pretty much like a suicide sentence, like, he's gonna go bury EO's body, and then he gets hanged, I'm like, where is this going? Like, what's happening? What is this book? And his uncle had hoodwinked us all. Like, I had no idea that was, like, even possible. I'm also like, why didn't you do it for EO or all these other people?
Literally felt the exact same way. I was like, okay, if you could do it for Darrow, why didn't you do it for Ia? Like, why did you let Darrow snap her neck? Because Darrow even references that later. He's like, could I have not tugged her neck and snapped her neck? Because, I mean, Darrow was the one who killed her, right? I don't blame Darrow, obviously. But technically, if there was a way to save her, now he has to live with that guilt of, well, could I have saved her? Like, I didn't even know that was an option. And so I kind of think that was crappy of the uncle because now Darrow, I mean, I'm assuming that guilt should be eating him alive. If it's not, once again, what a man.
To be like, oh, I wish I didn't pull that hard. It's crazy.
Yeah. I loved that quote a lot though of just it's like right at the start. I think I flagged it where on Mars there is not much gravity, so you have to pull the feet to break the neck. They let the loved ones do it. I did think that was like a really, really powerful line, being like, they let the loved ones do it. It's like, no, that is a form of torture in and of itself to have to go up and break the neck of your loved one so they don't suffer. Is just sick. And I mean, it really makes me hate the golds. But then it's also hard because you kind of end up liking a lot of the golds, right? Like I wrote in my review that I ended up really caring about Sevro and Cassius and Mustang and all these other people. And, it's kind of how I feel about District 1 and District 2 in the Hunger Games. It's not their fault that they're the favored ones, that they were brought up that way. It's a system failure. And, Darrow is hopefully going to break that system. But it's an interesting, like, kind of internal conflict you have.
No, I was rooting for some of the golds during the battles. And I'm like rooting for Darrow. Like, I feel like it's really hard not to get swept up in the gold lifestyle. Like, he pretty much has his brand new body and he's like the elite of the golds. Like, I feel like it's really hard to keep that like level mind where you're like, oh, I'm here for revenge. I'm not here to be one of them. I guess you just think of like your family suffering below. But I also had a hard concept because again, we don't really read sci-fi a lot. So in fantasy, we're dealing with the one universe. I guess Sarah Damas kind of branched into the multiverse, but we were dealing with one universe, and they're just like have powers on that universe. Whereas like this, like, is it so? Earth exists, it's functioning on its own, and then people like left Earth to go to Mars to dig, and then
That's what you want to do?
yeah, like, who sold this idea to the Reds where you're like, you're gonna go to Mars, but you're just gonna dig, and then eventually your kids in hundreds of years is gonna profit off of this. I can't think of anyone who's like, yeah, this sounds like a great way to live my life. Like, no.
Yeah, I do feel we need a little more background there. And part of it may have just been me glossing over some of the stuff because, like I said, my reading comprehension skills on this one were not up to standard. But they referenced the war several times where Earth fought the Golds, basically. Like the Golds had left Earth. But I don't feel like, see, and this is again where I get confused with this whole gold red thing because I'm like, theoretically, they would have been people. So how did they become golds with wings? But whatever, I digress. Anyway, those elite people ended up having a war with Earth and they won. So now I think Earth belongs to the golds. And then, yeah, they basically told the Reds, like, hey, come get Mars ready for your future generations because we're going to live on Mars. and then they just put them underground and now they're mining. And I agree with you, like, I agree with you to an extent. On the one hand, like, I wouldn't sign up for that personally, but for people who care about the, good of society and all that, maybe.
Be me, but
Not me. Just saying.
I'm crying.
I would want to be, a gold personally. I want to be at the top. I don't want to be underground digging for absolutely no reason. Just my personal preference.
So I can picture the golds and the reds. I picture reds kind of like just like dark ginger, like gingery, dark hair, like darker red features, like hair and eyebrows. I picture golds, blonde and blue eyes, and actually, do they have gold eyes?
Well, I would have pictured them blonde with blue eyes, but maybe they do have gold eyes.
But the pinks is where I have an issue. Do they have
That's
pink hair?
where we draw the line, is at the pinks.
But like maybe they have pink hair. I don't know.
I don't get it personally because again, it stems from Earth. And so to me, they're just regular people. So how did they say, okay, all you gingers go underground and dig? All you blondes get to be superior. I don't get it, all right? I'm really struggling with this concept.
Okay, I have to get my sourdough out of. So I took a sourdough class. I'll get my sourdough out of the oven real quick. Okay. So we are confused about the classes. I don't know if I want to be a gold, to be honest.
Well, is there a color you would want to be?
I don't know. Because, so we're going to branch into the academy a bit. But like, for example, Cassius's brother. He's like a weak gold.
Yeah.
So he like, it didn't sound like he had an option. Like, you either, do you go to if you don't go to the academy, do you die?
So I feel like there was a line in there that explained it. Not everyone goes to the academy, but if you are invited to go to the academy, you have to go. And so your high test scores get into the academy on their own merit, and then they choose a handful of low scores to go in to be killed.
Yeah, that was wild. So basically, it sounded like you like have to go. And I felt bad for like Cassie's brother because like, what if I am a gold, but like I'm like a weak gold? What if I don't score that well? And I don't want to kill somebody.
Yeah. No, the Cassius's brother made me so sad because he seemed like such a good kid, and like he looked up to his brother so much, and he was so proud to have made it to the academy, and to just be brought there to be killed was kind of devastating. And then too, he didn't really, I mean, when they said only one of you gets to leave the room, he was thinking, what a joke, right? They're not actually going to make us kill each other. And I don't know, it was very sad. And I spent the whole book literally having anxiety about when Cassius was going to find out that Darrow was the one who killed his brother.
No, when we recorded the last episode, you brought that up, and I had finished, so I knew. That's why I was like, we can't talk about this anymore because I didn't want to give it away. I just thought it was really cruel that Cassius was still like was so mad at Darrow because like what option did Darrow have? Like he had none.
No, he had no option. I get it from both sides though, because like also Cassius, that's his family, and I hope that they reconcile in a future book because I feel like before Cassius fought against Darrow, they were like brothers and had gotten really close. And then there was Roke too. So there was like a trio of them and they were really close. And so when Cassius found out and they separated and that was really bad. And then I thought at the end they were coming back together. And then Cassius was like, no, we have a blood feud. Like the next time you see me, one of us is going to die. And I was just like, oh, Cassius, can't we just get over it? I mean, I get it, but can't we just be friends? But also on the other hand, I think the only thing that would spur Cassius to turn on the system is that his brother died because he's so ingrained in the system and he's so proud to be a gold, and he comes from a family that is like feuding with the arch governor or whatever. Like his family's really high up there. So I think that death will ultimately hopefully be used to turn Cassius to Darrow's side because I like Cassius and I don't want them to be at odds.
Yeah, I did like Cassius. Although I did get annoyed with him because I feel like his ego was like something that needed to be put in check. And, like, Darrow saw, like, right through him too, and he, like, fed into it and, like, used it almost as, like, Darrow's weapon. But just, like, I don't know, the way he handled Darrow, like, he shouldn't have I don't know, I wouldn't have killed him right then and there. Like, Darrow really had no other options. Either he die or he kills somebody, and, like, he needs to be there too, like, he wants to live. So to just, like, stab him in the stomach and, like, kinda do that was I thought, well, but, it led to Mustang and Darrow getting together, which I knew from the minute we met Mustang, when he was, like, learning how to ride a horse in the beginning before the academy. I was like, "Oh, she's the one who's gonna pop back." And the fact that she sang EO's song in the locker room, like, it was, like, very full circle moment,
Mm-hmm.
and then he saved her. So, I think Mustang was a very bright spot in the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
I do fear Darrow going with her dad, who she clearly doesn't have a good relationship with, is like the worst move that Darrow could have made.
Don't really get that decision there at the end because, I mean, on the one hand, right, he has a mission. So it's his mission is to get as high up as possible to break the system. Fine. Going with that arch governor might get you there. But he literally in that moment was like, I could also achieve this by going with some less evil people over here, but nah, I'm gonna go with the arch governor. And I was like, when he got down and said the vow and the arch governor kissed him on the forehead or whatever, I was like, I really don't like the direction this is going, and it makes me very anxious for book 2 because I thought we were ending on a positive note, and I feel like that direction is not gonna go well.
Yes. And I feel like we jumped ahead. I will say the whole concept of picking houses, I got very excited because I thought it was going to be like Harry Potter-esque.
Same.
They're going to pick which one they vibe with, but it really wasn't that at all. Like, they had no choice in the matter. And it was a shame that House Mars was like the worst house.
Literally given terrible resources in the game. Like, one place had bread, another place had weapons and horses, and they were given nothing. And then, yeah, and then too, House Mars. I don't know how much you know about like Roman and Greek mythology and stuff, but typically Mars, and in the Greek is Ares or something. I don't know. But anyway, is like the god of war. And typically it's known for having like a temper and not thinking things through and just being super rash. And so I'm like, okay, if you get all these hot headed boys together and give them no resources, of course things are going to go bad.
No, in the house itself, like Mars like getting their shit together was really frustrating. And just reading like the internal battle a lot. I mean, I knew it was needed to show like Darrow like be a leader with his own. And I get why Darrow belonged in House Mars because he definitely is rash, and although he does think things through, I do think sometimes his emotions win over though, and he's very rash, and he definitely has a temper. But I would not want to be in House Mars.
No, definitely would not want to be in House Mars. I, like you, was disappointed when there was no sorting hat and they were just forced into a house. And that was a little disappointing because I was thinking, ooh, are we getting a little Harry Potter-esque here? We're going to go to an academy. No, you're going to the Hunger Games, actually. So good luck.
Yeah, I also thought we were gonna get like a little university setting, like they're gonna go to class and flirt with each other. And then I remembered this is not romantasy, this is sci-fi,
Yeah.
and they're going to battle.
Yeah, I kind of set myself up for disappointment because we were like about the same place. A little before 200 pages, and I was like, yeah, it's starting to feel like Harry Potter. I'm so excited. And then, nope, it took a completely different turn, and it was still good. But I mean, I was not prepared for everything that was going to happen, and I found it extremely disheartening that they're at school and they're not supposed to kill each other, but the proctors aren't going to stop them if they do.
Well, so there was so many ear cutting off. Like, I'm just confused. I'm like, why? Why are we cutting people's ears off? Also, I guess their goal is so they could just like glue them back, like get new ones, because apparently Daryl got a whole new body. So like, I wouldn't really want to put new ears past somebody. But also, why are we cutting people's ears off? Why are we peeing on people? That was like a huge thing. And also, I feel like someone got like their like private parts chopped off. Like there was this chopping off of parts of bodies that I didn't think was needed. And I guess it's just like a man's book, and I'm like a girl and I don't really like that kind of stuff. But
And that's why I say it was written by a man for men, or really, I think, for boys. I don't think like a 40-year-old mature CEO is like, I want to see someone pee on someone else. And if they are, that's a kink, okay? But anyway, no, so this was like, yeah, very, I don't know if you read Lord of the Flies in high
I have
school.
not.
Don't ever read it. Don't ever read it. This was Lord of the Flies, but just better because it was not forced on you in high school. But in Lord of the Flies, basically, it's a bunch of young boys. I think they're probably like 12 and 13, but they somehow wind up stranded on a desert island or something, and anarchy just goes wild, and they're, yeah, basically probably peeing and pooping on each other, okay? They're 13-year-old boys. That's apparently what boys do. I would have expected in their 20s to see a little more maturity, but there was a lot of weird, gross stuff going on. Like you said, body parts being cut off, and I can't relate to that. That's not what happened in my school.
Yeah, a lot of like stringing people up naked. It was a gritty book. Yeah. No, I would not be nice to be a girl in this world.
Well, that's okay. So that's where I feel like definitely a book by a guy written for guys, because to be a girl in this world apparently just means you get captured and potentially assaulted. And I didn't really see women rising to the top. Like Mustang is great, but she wasn't going to rise to the top without Darrow. And I hope we see something different maybe in future books, but it seems like it's really a man's world in this academy. And so it was a little concerning as a woman reading about all the things going on.
Well, I did think Darrow needed Mustang equally.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have risen to the top without her. So I do appreciate that, at least. And surprisingly, Pierce Brown put a lot of women in charge in like the actual government. Like I feel like it was all women that were like leaders. Like it was like Cassius's mom was the leader. Wasn't his mom like the arch governor or something like that?
I don't know who. I didn't really pay all that much attention. They had a weird last name, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, and then also was it Antonia?
Yes, but she was like a bad guy. I
Yeah.
can't root for her. She was just willy-nilly betraying people.
I know. I wish she was someone that you could root for.
Yeah.
She was kind of just mean. But and then also my favorite was Sevro and the Wolf Pack.
Loved
them.
Sevro. The
So
best.
whenever Darrow, like Fletcher, whenever Darrow hit like him down, I thought he killed him. Cause the chapter ends with like Fletcher stopped moving. And I was like, bro, you gotta stop killing the people you like's loved ones. Like this is getting out of hands. Because I'm like, we love Sevro. Why are you gonna kill his dad?
I literally thought he killed Fletcher as well. It was literally like, I beat him over the head till he stopped moving. End of chapter. Next chapter. Wearing his grab boots, I flew around. I'm sorry, sir, what did you just do?
He used the grab boots, and Sevro's like, where'd you get those from? And he's like, Daddy.
No, that was one of my favorite lines as well. But no, I loved Sevro. I really am worried Sevro's going to get killed off as like an emotional attack on the reader in a future book, because I see him as someone everyone would have fallen in love with. He means a lot to Darrow, and it would hurt everyone if the author killed him off.
So I did see someone post like books like emotionally destroyed them, and it was Lightbringer, which I think is Lightbringer. It's the most recent book out of this series, like emotionally destroyed people, and it's actually a very highly rated Goodreads book too.
Okay.
So I'm really excited for it. Apparently, this was originally supposed to be a trilogy, and now it's like 7 books long. So we are in for like a ride.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I have one question, though, about one of the characters, because we haven't touched on him at all, but it was kind of a huge revelation.
Yes.
Titus was a red.
Yes. Yeah. Thought Darrow wasn't going to kill him because they're on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have done that. I think I would have been a wimp.
Well,
But I do think he would have ruined it, the whole movement.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Titus wasn't a good person, so, like, I was fine with him being killed. And also, it's not like Darrow could have told Titus who he was, because you can't trust Titus to not blow both of their covers. But to blow Darrow's cover and to ruin the whole thing. So I mean, I was like, I didn't know what Darrow was going to do, but I feel like he made the right decision. I was just surprised that there was another red, and it makes you wonder who else might be a secret red.
I know. I want and yeah. No, I'm curious. I'm really trying to look up spoilers because I don't want to be ruined. No, it'd be I see, I don't know where the series is gonna go, and I don't want to make expectations and be let down. But I feel like there's a lot of directions we can go right now. I still don't get how Darrow's gonna bring down the system. Like, he's one guy. I would be so overwhelmed. I could never do this.
And so here's the other thing. I'm not even sure what planet he's on right now. Is he still on Mars? Like, was the Academy on Mars? Like, were they somewhere else? Like, where does the Archgovernor live? Where is he going to go be? My reading comprehension skills were really lacking, but also I don't think some things were fully fleshed out. And so I think we still have a lot of world here to discover. And so, like you said, there are a lot of different directions it could go. I have zero thought about what there's not a thought in my head about where this book is going to go. So wherever the author takes me will be an absolute surprise.
So I think we're still on Mars only because in this little map that we have here, it does say Mars.
Do I have a map?
And it says the Institute. I do think they go to some planets. They could have been mentioning a planet around like Jupiter, and I think people live on planets, and I think they don't like certain people who live on certain planets, or they're bombing certain certain like moons. I have to say, I am not a science person. I was never good at science. I do think the solar system itself actually makes me feel so small and so like, why does my life matter? Because we're like, there's just, it's so broad and there's so many like lightning speeds away or whatever. Like, I watched Interstellar. I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
And that one breaks my heart because what was it? Like, he goes like the wrong direction in space and like 40 years pass. His daughter's older than him. Like, that was wild. And whenever I think of space, I literally think of Interstellar.
Yeah. No, I read, and this may be total bogus, but I believe everything I read on the internet. I read that Interstellar was so accurate that scientists used their depiction of a wormhole or black hole, whatever it was, whatever hole it was. Scientists used that to help train people in NASA about what they're looking at because Interstellar was so accurate with their depiction because they worked very closely, I think, with NASA and other scientists to get it right. So when I think of space, I also think of Interstellar and I treat it as factual.
And it just really, I don't know, we don't really read a lot of books about in space, but it's really tripping me up, the fact that they're just on Mars and on planets. So it's kind of hard to separate the two. Like, one minute they're in space, the next minute they're like in a war college. And I also don't understand where the wings come in, and it's not really talked about the entire time while they're fighting. Like, no one talks about like cutting wings off. So I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a tattoo.
Oh my gosh. I just realized if the Golds all had wings, they wouldn't need the grab boots to fly around. So
I feel
what
like
the heck were the wings about?
maybe they're tattoos.
But then, did you notice the cover is of a red wing? What does that mean?
I don't know. And so the next titles are, which also like are like leading, like, so I think the book coming out soon is like called like Gold Red. And then it's Golden Sun, Morning Star, Iron Gold, and then Dark Age. So I am like, where is this going? What are we doing? I don't know. We're along for the ride. But I would say currently top characters, one that we did not talk about actually is Pax dying was my saddest part.
Oh my gosh. I literally was about done with the book at that point. Like, I was like, with Pax dying, I don't even want to finish this because Pax turned out to be such a good person. He was so loyal and he was so nice. And he had that big woman named Helga or whatever, like back wherever he was from. And I just wanted him to get home to his big, beautiful woman. And when he died, I was like, I don't know, Pierce, if I can keep going with your stupid book.
He died to save Darrow. He like jumped over him. That was like really heartbreaking. Also, what was his name? Who was the bad guy again? What was Mustang's brother's nickname?
What was his name? The Jackal.
The Jackal. So that whole thing felt so easy. So what Darrow like just like wanders his way in, like sweet talks his way in, and it's the Jackal the whole time, which did not see that coming. I pictured the Jackal as this big brute,
Mm-hmm.
but really it was like this like little guy is what I feel like he described him as, right?
Mm-hmm. Like a
He's like,
Weasley little sick looking guy.
yeah. And whenever like Mustang came in and they were just talking, I was like, she just walked out. She was like cool with it. I would have been like, no, Darrow, we need to talk right now. Like, this is my brother, bro. But no, she just like walked out, let them do the little chat. But I did not see that coming. And
Do you?
then he's an idiot for letting Jackal go.
No, okay, but do you trust Mustang?
I do.
Really?
I do. I don't
Okay.
know why. Okay, I do know why. Because fan art draws them together. Why would they not?
Okay. I have trust issues. I honestly don't trust her. I feel like the ending was too easy. He sent Mustang off, and then he's like, someone's like, you realize they're twin siblings, don't you? And he's like, oh, crap, what did I just do? He's running around like a chicken with its head cut off, getting all his ducks in a row so that he can fight Mustang and the Jackal together. And then she shows up and she's like, you didn't trust me? Here's the Jackal. Here you go. Go be with my daddy now. And I'm like, okay, I feel like this is setting up for a big betrayal in the future. Like, she had a conversation with the Jackal and they're like, we know how to get him.
I mean, I don't think I would want to win. And I don't think Darrow should have won. I think he should have, I don't know, taken his lashings, like got third place. Like, I guess he couldn't like lead his army to that, but like wouldn't want to be first. I want to be top 5, sure, but like I don't want to be first.
I mean, Fletcher literally said, you don't need to win this. Everyone wants you. You're going to have your pick of whatever jobs you want. So just like cool it because they're going to kill you if you don't. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going to win the whole thing.
And then he like took down so the thing that I couldn't visualize as well was the going up to the house. Is it like a mansion floating in the sky?
So I got to be honest, it lost me a little bit because they were using all the, I don't know if they're the Roman or the Greek names, but Apollo, Jupiter, Mars, these are all, I think they're the Roman gods. I'm pretty sure they're the Roman ones. And because the Greek ones are like Zeus and whatever else. So they're using all these Roman names plus Mount Olympus, which is literally where the gods live in Roman mythology or Greek mythology, again, whichever one. So when they're like, yeah, we're going to go up to Mount Olympus and kill some of these proctors, but they have god names. I was like, I'm not sure I'm following. Is this like heaven we're going up to? Or like, yeah, like a floating house in the sky? I don't know. I can't visualize it. I'm not smart enough.
So I took it as so each house is a Roman god's name. Like all the houses were Roman gods. So whoever's in charge of that house like embodies that name. Like I don't know, well is Fletcher's a proctor. So like I guess it's that's what's confusing about it because it's not consistent.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like the other proctors go by like Apollo and these other names, but Fletcher goes by Fletcher. So that's why I think it throws people off because it's not consistency. Because I don't think these people's names are like Apollo. I think they're just the proctors of House Apollo.
House
And they
Apollo.
probably
Yeah.
have real names.
That's a good point. That could also be why I'm being thrown off because I was imagining Apollo as like the Roman god, and I'm like, you just killed the freaking Roman god Apollo. Like, are you crazy? And I knew he wasn't really a god, but I did think there would be a lot of repercussions for that. But maybe it's because he is just technically a proctor, and Fletcher said like a proctor was as high as he could rise, but you can rise higher. So in the food chain, like a proctor isn't up here. So maybe that's why it was okay that he killed Apollo. But yeah, I struggled with that. I struggled with Mount Olympus. And then you were saying all the houses were named after Roman god or whatever. Did you notice on this map? One says unknown house.
Yeah, no,
That makes me nervous.
There's 12 houses that they listed, but I don't they said that I think they said there was 12 houses or 10. But you can see it, yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's 12 houses. And we really are only named a handful. I guess at this point, the rest were already taken or insignificant, but I feel like at that point, just name them.
Yeah.
I do think they're Roman gods because I have read a bunch of Greek mythology retellings, and the names are shifted. I did take a Greek mythology class online through Oxford once, but I never quite finished it. That's my issue with online classes. I never that's when we did our writing class. I don't even know
Hmm.
if either of us did our final stuff.
You know, I did, but I never got a final grade back on the last thing because I submitted it a few days late, and the teacher was like, "Sorry, you didn't submit it on time. No final grade." I was like, "I don't really care."
I was so after Sarah's interview, I'm like, I just want to write again. I'm like, I should take another class because the place that we took the writing class through, I think it was like Gotham Writing, is like right near the new office.
Hmm.
And I was like, I can go on the way home, but it's like 6:30 to 9:30. I'm like, really want to take the train home at like 9:30? I was like, no, not really. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't think I want to do a class. Like, I think I just need to make myself write because the class itself gets me like deterred from like what I actually want to write.
Hmm.
It's more just like making the time to write.
Yeah.
But
There's no time to do all the things I want to do. It's just like I spent the whole day yesterday in my garden cleaning it up, and I was shoveling rocks to lay down pavers so that I could make my stuff even and all this whatever. And then, like today, I really need to do some work, but I'd love to take up sewing and I'd love to write. And I'm trying to read more, and then I want to try and get content out. And I'm just like, we need a 2-day work week and have the rest of the week be for us.
we just see jobs that are 9 to 5.
That would help a lot. See, that's the thing that people don't get because or at least that's the thing that makes it hard is people online who have actual 9 to 5 jobs and they, post those videos that they're super inspiring. Here's my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5, and I do all this stuff. And then you'll see, here's my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, and they do all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's so great. Like, I want to be able to do that too. Except I don't work just 9 to 5. I work from anywhere from like 8 to 6, walk my dog, and then get back online and work till 10 or 11 or whatever. So it's like, yes, it's super great for those people. I'm just so jealous.
No, so jealous. Yeah. No, it's hard. I've been trying to be better about working when I'm working to not. It's just things take so much longer than I plan and then I have to work longer. Like on Friday, I had all these goals and then I had one thing that just like took me hours and then it was like 5 o'clock and I'm like, so I worked until midnight on Friday because I knew I was going to have like a long working weekend because I was going to the city for most of the weekend, but like I need to sign on tonight and work after this. Yeah, no, so I'm like, how did I get here? Oh, from writing.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, favorite people, love packs. I actually like Mustang. I know you don't trust her, but I like her a lot.
Like her. I don't, I don't feel confident that she's not going to betray him or that something else might not happen. And if people are posting fan art of the two of them together, maybe it'll all work out. And I just still worry there's going to be some betrayal coming up. And I just hope it's not from her or Sevro because I like them for Darrow.
Yeah, love Sevro. I didn't love Cassius as much as you did. I didn't dislike him. I liked him better when they were like buds, but I still felt like his ego just bothered me. Like he always he reminded me just of a spoiled brat. Like he had to be like number one, but he wasn't doing anything to get to be number one. Like he was just following Darrow, but then he's like, "But I'm the leader," and it's like, okay, be the leader.
Yeah. And then when Darrow did go away because Cassius stabbed him through the stomach, House Mars fell to shiz because Cassius wasn't a good leader. And everyone was so glad when Darrow came back. So it kind of just shows.
And everyone was starving to death. You said his name before. Was it?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Roke or Rook, but there was a
But
Q in there.
he hugged Darren. He's like, I knew you'd come back. I knew you weren't dead. And I was like, dang. So yeah, I mean, maybe he will change and be better and I will learn to like him. Trying to think of anyone else right now is on top of my mind. But no, that's kind of it.
Yeah. I think those were the only people I mentioned in my review. Sevro, Cassius, Mustang, Roke, and Darrow. Yeah. I guess I'm curious to see how he moves on with Mustang and leaves EO behind, like how he reconciles that. I would like to see how Pierce Brown writes that as a man and see if it lines up with what I would expect as the woman.
I know. I'm like expecting this like great uh romantic epic love story between Mustang and Darrow, and I know I'm gonna be disappointed in that.
I mean, maybe not though. You've seen fan art of them together. So maybe Pierce Brown will surprise us, but same. I was like very happy when him and Mustang were becoming romantically entwined because I'm like, oh, thank goodness I could not read another 400 pages without a romance. Like, it killed off his wife in the first 50 pages. Are you going to leave us starved of romance for 7 books? We got Mustang.
Still like surprised that we like a book. I mean, like there was a point in time where I couldn't read a single book without romance. And now this book had very little romance. I very much enjoyed it. So I do feel like my reading taste is evolving, and I am just shocked I liked it as much as I did, given that it was battles the entire time. Lots of blood, a lot of bodily fluids I didn't want to read about, and very little blood. I mean, very little romance.
You just got blood on the mind. There was a lot of living in dead wolves too, which I did not love. Or the horses of bellies or something. Or the bellies of
Yeah.
horses, whatever.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And like whenever they just like would kill a wolf and then put the skin on it, like I don't know, don't we gotta dry that out first?
Yeah, like, is there some kind of sanitation process?
I could never.
Needless to say, I would not survive in this world, but I am looking forward to reading the next one and seeing how Darrow survives.
Yes, definitely. I'm curious if Darrow stays the course. I feel like he's gonna get swept up in Gold Life.
Yeah, and I think he's going to evolve beyond the Sons of Ares or whatever they're called. And I think it's gonna he's gonna lead a revolution that may differ from what they were projecting, just because they hate the golds, and I think Darrow is going to learn to love the golds, his friends, and want to get them on board to help everyone rise above. So we will see.
Yeah, high hopes. We will read the next book and do a deep dive as well. The new one comes out in June, so our goal is to read them all by June. There's also so many other series we want to dive into. After talking, I kind of want to dive into the next one, but I guess we'll give our ratings. I give this one a 4 stars, like 4 even, much as we can do Decimal Places now on Fable. I do give it an even 4 stars. I liked it a lot. It wasn't a 5-star because of the reasons we discussed, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'm excited for the next book.
And I gave it, I can't remember if it was 3.7 or 3.8, but it was shy of a 4. Same reasons we discussed. And also just, I don't love Lord of the Flies, and it reminded me a lot of Lord of the Flies. I think the next book, I won't have that bias in my head because we'll be out of the environment that they were in the academy, kind of just killing each other. So we'll see. But I think from here on, my ratings may go up.
We'll see.
I'll see.
And our next book of the month, which is March, we discussed this, is How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates, which I do think is a romance because I rented it from the library and it had the romance like label on top.
Good. Okay. I started a different romance last night, The Someday Garden. We got that one in the mail by Ashley Poston because my copy of How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates hasn't come in on Libby yet, / the real library. I put it on hold at like every library in Phoenix, but it's really backed up. So we'll see. If not, I'll have to bite the bullet and buy it.
Well, maybe just get on the Kindle.
That's true. I always forget about the Kindle. My only issue with the Kindle is a lot of times the Kindle books are just as expensive as a physical book. When they're not, it's great. Like when they're $3.99 or whatever, I'm like, perfect, great. But sometimes they're like 10 or 20, and I'm like, really?
I think our next episode, we're going to start our series challenge where we're going to discuss all the series we have started and not finished. So I guess we just added another one to that list. So that is our next episode. We'll be releasing next week, and stay tuned. And thanks for listening. Make sure to hit subscribe, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and also join our book club on Fable. We're up to 4 members. So you could be the fifth.
And it's not just our own fake accounts?
No. Also, that other Kayla isn't me. I don't know who the other Kayla is.
Okay, I saw Kayla's now following me, and I was like, rude, you haven't been following me for the past 3 weeks?
No, that
Okay.
wasn't me. And then
Oh
Rebecca
my gosh!
joined. So
Well
we have 2 people in our book club. We will be posting our book of the month there first, so make sure to follow us there. We are also very much like Fable over Goodreads, so just download Fable in general. You don't even have to be part of our book club if you don't want to be. But yeah, this is Kayla.
and Marissa.
Have a good night.